Hi guys, it's Sarah with Grassroots Evolution Tarot, and I'm here today to bring you a monthly message for the sign of Libra for February 2022. Keep in mind it's a general message, so take what you feel resonates for you, disregard the rest, as well as know that even though this message is coming through at the end of February, this message is timeless. It's just the messages that we're asking Spirit to bring through at this time. So take it how it feels like it's for you. It could be picking up on a past situation, a past life situation, something you're going through right now, or something that hasn't entered the energy field yet. So just keep an open mind, my friends, and an open heart. And for all my subscribers, I love you, love you, love you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for being here. You guys mean the world to me. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. Thanks for stopping by. If you feel like you'd like to see more of these readings, if it resonates, please hit subscribe. Join the journey with me. I'd love to have you along this ride. So before I do get into the messages today, I am going to take a moment to call in Archangel Michael, Archangel Metatron, my team of light, and any of your spirit guides that would be here for the highest good of the entire collective to join us. I'm going to ask them to guide, guard, bless, and protect myself, this reading, and any of you guys who would ask for it, as well as to use me as the clearest channel possible, delivering messages that are for the farthest reaching of everyone watching, okay? Only top shelf messages here today, my friends. So if this message does resonate, just remember it's still up to you and your active free will, the choices you make and the steps you take in your world to get whatever fulfillment it is you'd like to see. And to me, that's always going to be personal freedom. It's always going to be our personal power, because this is something that we have at the tips of our fingers and the soles of our feet. So my friends, use this power to do wisely, okay? I'm going to start off today feeling really guided to bring in the Wildwood Tarot first for a little bit of spiritual advice going forward. Spirit, what messages would you have? Thank you. So right away, you have the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse with the Eight of Stones and skill. So first off, what I heard is practice makes perfect. If at first you do not succeed, try again. We're only, what I heard is we only fail at things if we stop, if we don't keep moving. And they're giving me already, I want to give you guys like a weight loss kind of thing, okay? Or even fitness. We may take a break. Maybe we didn't, sweat as many times this week as we would like to. Maybe we got a little bit off track with our eating habits and our nutrition. Does that mean that, let's say we've been off it for 2 days? Maybe it's been a week. We can allow all of these excuses and all of these, well, it's already been this long, so why don't I just keep doing it? We can say, yeah, it's okay. Or we can go, you know what? Right here, right now, I'm going to turn this around. I have a goal, and what I'm doing right now, is it helping me to get this goal? Is it helping me to get the desired outcome? There's a lot of other things this could, really relate to. Not just about our eating habits and, how much we exercise. But this is towards our goals. Maybe we're looking for a job and we feel like, or we don't like the job that we want or we're in. Sorry guys, I'm so jumbled right now. But if you don't like what's happening, or if your world seems flipped upside down, it's like, you are still learning the skills needed for the next endeavor. That is what I heard. So if there's something happening right now though, where, you may, I heard stoner, okay, for some of you. I mean, no judgment here. But what I mean is with that is if we know that we're not getting what we need because we're putting off what we need to do for recreational purposes, okay? I think that's also where Spirit's like, hey, just wanted to give you a little rethink, are you working towards your goals, or what's going on here? What's the stalemate? So under here you have the Six of Bows, which is really wonderful, and this is about abundance. To me, this always looks like a drum. I know it's not. It's a fire, and it's in sort of like an underground cave or teepee system. But they've got in here all their stores for winter, right? They're going to be taken care of. There's a lot of food. There's warmth in here as well. And this tree growing in here as well, I feel like there's life. It's important to know that even though right now things may seem like they're at a standstill, it doesn't mean that the work isn't being put in. They're giving me another example, and I'm going to give it to you guys again. if this part doesn't resonate, disregard it, but there may be a way you can use my analogy with whatever the situation is for you. So what they're telling me is with a stalemate, going back to like a weight loss journey or exercise regime and things like that, sometimes we get, when our body's fluctuating, we may gain a few pounds, or we may find that there is a transition period as your body's changing from muscle from fat to muscle, right, as you're building muscle. And what I'm hearing is, sometimes, especially when we get off of our game a little bit, okay, we get a stalemate where even if we're putting the work in every single day, we're working out, our nutrition is on point, we may see that scale, it's not going down. And this is what I heard is kind of triggering. It's triggering for a lot of us, especially when we're really, really working our hardest and this thing isn't showing us the number we want. But that's not saying that there's failure. Just because that number didn't go down didn't mean that your body didn't transform a bunch of fat into muscle, and muscle weighs more. It didn't mean that you weren't still strengthening your muscles and improving your endurance and getting wonderful endorphins out of this. I mean, there's always something amazing and great from us pushing past our boundaries. So I think what's important here, before I even get into this stuff, is it's going to be that you're learning over time. And for some of you as well, especially if you resonate with like a fitness or a health journey kind of thing, we get in our way. There's reasons for, there's reasons why we may be on this journey to lose weight. If it resonates, it's something completely different for you. I'm just going to roll with what I got right now. But it's like, you've probably tried this a few different times, right? This could be school, right? This could be, a big test that we have to do. I heard bar exam as well. That, we may know what we have to do. It's this discipline within yourself of implementing that practice. So if what I heard is if you feel something's gone wrong, this is where just sit with it. And what was the lesson? It's kind of similar to that test where if you know that you got, let's say, 80%, and you know that you need a 90, okay, let's just say for depending on the course, you need 90 to pass this thing. You're going to go back probably and figure out what was wrong, right? Are you going to study everything you knew? Probably not, because there's a waste of time there. We need to figure out what was it I got wrong, so that when you go back and you kind of restudy this and you take this test again, you're going to do better because you're just improving on what wasn't there last time. So what I'm hearing too, I want to show you guys these before I move any farther, is the Page of Vessels with the otter up here, which is also very playful, beautiful energy, very family oriented, very much there's love to give here as well. And then you have the King of Vessels, which I believe was in the reverse with the heron here, standing in these emotional waters. So I'm going to keep it in reverse. I'm going to actually turn them over for a minute because there's more coming out about this with the Eight of Stones. And again, like if you've been in a stalemate and you have been, not doing whatever you've been trying to do for a week, a month, it's saying, you know what? Have you done this before? Because a lot of people, if you identify with a weight loss journey, this seems to be something that happens all the time, or not all the time, but there's cycles, right? And it's really, really difficult to keep that weight off, right? Once you finally do that, if you're losing weight, you also need to make sure that the habits that created a place where you were unhappy or unhealthy in your body, those habits, they're attached to something deeper and underlying and triggered within us. Okay, it could be trauma. It's some way of coping that we've done. And this is where it's like, you still need to follow most of the time a decent nutrition plan and get some exercise even after losing that weight. Otherwise, what's going to happen? It's going to come back, right? Our body wants it to come back. So for some of you guys, you're doing great. Well, for all of you guys, you're doing great. But the weight loss stuff, it's important, what I heard, that you do this for you, that you do it for the right reasons, and that, you are really learning and building skills along the way. Because I think it's really important to here not to beat yourself up if you have lost weight in the past and gained it back and you're on this journey again. We've all been there. And I think it's also really important, what I heard is for body positivity and to love yourself now. When we love ourselves now, that's gonna, when we hit this self-sabotaging behavior, we have to go, did I really need that? I think as well as there's some lots coming in right now, okay guys? I heard for some of you, calories, count them. I personally also want to just share, because I think that the program has changed my life as well, but I have not been as strict as I'm supposed to be either, okay? So I have been trying, those words, to follow a 2B mindset with Beachbody, and I think that it's just how veggies, really incorporating vegetables again, and how we plate our stuff, right? Making sure that our protein and our carbohydrates are balanced and we're eating appropriate amount of vegetables so that we're feeling full. I think that, also there's a lot here, okay? Because it's saying, just because one time something didn't work in a particular way doesn't mean you're bound to fail. It just means that that wasn't the way for you. And as well as just because somebody else had success in one way or another doesn't mean that's going to be your way, and that it doesn't mean you failed. Because there's a lot going on with what you got here, okay? So I feel like as well for some of you, this coming back to this body positivity, I'm feeling like if you are, feeling that need to get that exercise or feeling that need to follow your goals, and you find yourself at that place where, again, like I almost heard crossroads, where you have been slack on the goals, it's really to remember, okay, I love myself. And I put these goals in place for a reason. I put action-oriented so you need to take action, right? We need to take action-oriented steps. This could be a plan. For some of you, it may just be, again, to start out slow, and what I heard is, and here's all this food. Look what's in this. Look what's in the storehouse. It's good food. What brings us to the 6, this victory and this abundance, is when we ask ourselves, do we love ourselves? And we're about to put something into our body. Does my body love that? Does it love my body? Is this showing myself love? Is this showing myself self-sabotage? I think as well as for some of you, again, and they're going back to this non-scale victory. Celebrate yourself. And celebrate those non-scale victories. Celebrate your body exactly how it is right now. It's going to be important as well, especially, depending on how much weight you've had to lose. Because I'll be honest, okay, and it's really going into this message. If you're still watching, I'm going to share my part of the journey, because, I definitely have lost weight before and been trying, many times over my life. And it's not to say that that will never happen again. But what has happened before is that I gave up, because I was working really, really hard. And the scale for me, it's something that didn't really budge a lot of the time, but I also overate still, right? And it's whatever. The thing about that is that there came a point where my stomach's been an issue for me my whole life, right? And when things cinch in and change, they create change in our bodies, but not everything's going to happen in the order we want it to. So honestly, like this little roll right on top of my belly, it felt like it was getting bigger because everything else was getting smaller. But that part of me saw this as a negative, and it was my negative self-image, my negative body image, saw that and I let it deplete me. This was years ago, and again, I think that it's important because when I joined Beachbody, I talked to my coach and I had told her about, I embarked on this before and I gave up on myself. And I'm going to get emotional, but I'm not going to do that now. It's okay if you take a month off. Sometimes you need that. It took a month over Christmas and it was horrible getting back in. It was maybe like 3 weeks. It was horrible getting back into it. But the thing is, it was like that commitment to me is important. And I think that for any of you guys, if you do like exercise on the regular, if we don't do it, your body's like, hey girlfriend, you should get moving. Hey, I feel like I need to sweat. You drinking your water? What are you giving me? Right? Food wise, we know the difference between our body being a well-oiled machine and our body being just a little needing a tune-up. Okay? So I think there's a lot of importance on loving ourselves right here, right now, and to remember the skills that this also means that sometimes tools break. And those tools that inform us on what we need our body to look like in order for us to love it, we're going to throw those away, okay? Now, we don't need them anymore. We're not working on that. We know that no matter what shape we come into, we are loved and we are lovable, and we're going to love ourselves. And I feel like it's important about the counting calorie thing. It's not so much to make yourself be so stressed out about what you're eating. It's just making sure that, let's talk about junk food. Count those calories. Make yourself aware of what you're eating. And I think it's also important that if you are noticing that scale go down, or if you're noticing parts of you going down, and then you go to eat that same stuff, okay, have some. Don't deprive yourself. But I think it's the importance of, we could eat the whole bag. Or we could go, okay, it says for 20 some pieces of chips, it's 230 calories or 250 calories. And then you're like, oh shit, I ate like 500. And then think about the chocolate or whatever else that's, and I'm going to use munch out, okay? Whatever else gets added on to this, or binging. I know that language sometimes is really triggering, but I found too, it's really important to be, I heard helpful, useful, and honest with ourselves. So sometimes, and my hubby used to call it for me munching or munch out, and I was like, no, we can't call it that because that normalizes it. I'm going to call it a binge. And to hear myself call that, it was horrible. And I think that it's really important too, when you acknowledge it, it makes you a whole lot more mindful when you go to grab it. And then when you go to grab it, going, well, why? Why am I doing this? The bottom of the deck is the Knight of Stones, or the horse in reverse. And this again goes right back to that stalemate, right? Not making progress. We're not feeling like we're making progress. They're also telling me, oh man, so they're telling me about the grocery store. The good stuff, it's all on the outside. Look at that. They're looking over here, and the good stuff is all on the outside. For some of you also, what I heard is you may want to do what I did. Okay, I wrote like this little mantra, I guess, or not mantras, but affirmations for myself. Like, I choose love for myself and others. I drink enough water. I get enough exercise. I'm safe. I'm protected. I'm loved. I'm joyful. There's things that we need to remind ourselves, right? Even on a day-to-day, I find sometimes I put it on my cupboard where the mugs are, and I drink water, not coffee, because coffee's not the best for me, and that's where I love that stuff, and I know it makes my body feel like crap. So this is also where it's like, well, do you love yourself, and are you drinking enough water? Are you drinking coffee, honey? Don't make that pot. That's where it's like, not everyone's going to have that reaction, but sometimes like, it's like, well, why am I doing this? Even though I know it hurts me. I think that there's a lot of changes happening, and a lot of what I heard is there's a real importance on growth right now. And again, that body positivity, loving yourself exactly as you are. And what I also heard is like bullies, because to be honest, and here's more of the Sarah show, and I'll let you know, because if any of you have been bigger for any time, people can be real assholes. We got the King of Pentacles here. It could be an earth sign as well, but I think this is just you. And this is because the lessons that have been learned here with this owl. My dad got me that owl. Excuse me, I don't know if you can see it for Christmas, but I think that it's because this Owl King, I got bullied, called fat, all kinds of stuff. And growing up, and it like really made me feel less than. It made me always feel bad about my body and my even being, right? Where if you're just walking around and other people or other kids, are calling you fat and things like that, and then I would go home and I ate my feelings. And it's one of those things that it just is going to make you then add fuel to the fire. And the thing is, coming back from my wisdom, especially when the fat comments started, I was hitting puberty. I was about 11. And, I mean, I definitely came home and ate a box of crackers, don't get me wrong. Those friggin' wheat thins or veggie thins or whatever it was, I would mindlessly munch it out. And, of course, you're gonna pack it on. But the thing is with that is, like, a bunch of salt, not great for you. But it wasn't like everyone did it. It was just one or two people. And one very popular jerk-off, sorry guys, but that nobody else wanted to say, hey, they mean man, that's not cool. So when he'd say something stupid, nobody else would stand up for it, or they would kind of laugh because, ha ha ha, that guy. And, then it was like, well, I internalized that as they all thought that. And then, it's at this point now where it's so important that we realize that guy, he doesn't judge my worth, right? And I think that it was just this has happened to me in relationships too. I've definitely had some people say some pretty cruel things, or be really, like, you're too fat to marry. And it was a cop-out, but still. And you look back on things like that, and I was in my 20s, and it was really, really shitty, and it was really, really devastating. And this had been after, just a lot of stuff on my weight being an issue, right? And it's like, well, if my weight's such an issue, why were you involved in this in the first place? And I think this goes down to what I heard is fat shaming as well. And that particular person felt some kind of way about dating a chubby girl. And I think that, that, again, this is where it's really important to realize that had no bearing on my worth either. And that you are lovable in whatever size you are. And sexy is not a body type. Sexy is an attitude and a feeling. And everyone has a right to feel sexy because you are. So I feel like this is really important too. If you have been going through some body image issues lately or anything like that, this may be even just something to do for you, okay? But Spirit's suggesting it, and I'm absolutely on board. I think it might be really helpful for you guys to dress up sexy. Snap a picture of yourself. You don't just give it to anybody, but snap some sexy pictures. Take, get yourself dolled up, or, put some really nice clothes on. If you don't want to get all dolled up, just, even if you don't want to feel sexy, get in an outfit that you feel good about and take a look. If there's a color that makes you feel more vibrant, wear it. Here, yellow, yep, bananas. which is also going to radiate self-confidence and self-worth. What I heard is you're stepping into your prime. And I think that this is also something, if regardless of whether you are actually in partnership or not, you're going to find, I think, a lot more love that you already had. And if this is a new partnership coming in, you're going to be able to open up a lot more to love by focusing on body positivity and releasing any shame someone else has put on your body. Because again, who are those people to do that? So let me get some messages from the Earth Magic Oracle, guys. What messages? Oh, unfoldment flew out here, and the lotus flower, and harmony. And this is really important because, again, this lotus flower, they grow from the mud. If they did not have those murky, muddy waters, these troubled emotions, these deep depths, they wouldn't be so beautiful. There's so much too, because they're talking about how like you can actually eat lotus root. Oh man. And these flowers are absolutely beautiful. And I think it's important with this harmony too, because everything's coming out. I heard everything will come out in the wash as well, but everything's unfolding it how it is meant to, in harmony. So this is also really important for you to remember that we grow and change and evolve every day. And to stay in harmony with your body, to listen to your spirit guides as well, to listen to your internal cues. And this also is about frequency and vibration. For some of you, I heard like you may want to take a spiritual bath. I like to turn on, can't even remember which like hertz. I just like to, I look in YouTube on frequency healing or whatever, and it'll show you. I'm not sure if it's Blended Insights. I do have a healing vibes playlist that you guys can look up if you're just like, I don't feel like doing that. There are some that I've watched that I've saved there for you guys too. So just if you wanted that. The bottom of the deck here is power and lightning. And this is great. Because you know what? This happens in a quick snap. We start focusing on the things we love about ourselves, our body positivity. Maybe this is, if you don't feel like, you want to take sexy pictures, or you don't want to like get dressed up and dolled up and snap pictures and look and give yourself compliments. Tell yourself like 3 things a day what you love about yourself. I love your smile. I love your eyes. I love your heart. We love our bellies, right? And I think as well for some of you, here's more honesty if you're right into this, if you're this far. But I had a C-section with my twins, and I really never had that flap, the fold, right? The fupa, okay? Whatever you want to call it. And it was something that after having my twins, I would feel really self-conscious about as well, because underwear didn't fit, especially when I started to like gain a little bit of weight. Underwear didn't fit the same way it did, because jeans didn't fit the same way they did, and I just felt like I would never be rid of it, and I felt like that part of me was something that was here to stay, and it probably will always be a little bit there. I don't have any flat tummy aspirations. However, I think that it's really important to know that kicking and kickboxing and that kind of stuff, it's helped a lot. So it's just also about what I heard is gaining strength, taking care of your body, and finding something that you enjoy, so that, and focusing on the areas of your life where you need to take action. So as well as this, what they're saying to me is push yourself to get out of the stalemate that's here. Because, okay, I'm going to share something. I have not been able to do a proper sit-up in years. And I do little crunches. But last night, my hubby, kind of put his knees on my feet, and I did 3 full sit-ups. Totally peed my pants, by the way. Little TMI, but peed my pants the whole way. But you know what? I got all the way up. The third time was hard, but it just was like, this is something I thought I couldn't do. Did it. Times 3. And tonight, I'm going to try and hit 5. So I think it's really important to set goals for yourself, to remember that when we set self-limiting views for ourselves, we're not hurting anybody but ourselves either. So push past them, my wise friend. So I'm going to leave you with one parting message here. If you've resonated with this from the Moonology Oracle, thank you. And moving forward, the advice is surrender to the divine. Just keep doing you, babe. Just keep focusing on your plan and your path. And with this, like I said, everything will come out in the wash. Surrender to your path. And whatever's, I heard, if something's been done wrong or done dirty or whatever to you, that's going to come. And those people will have their own karma to deal with. You know, kind of like how I was saying about the childhood bullies. I'm sure that that boy had to go through other stuff in his life, and you know, it's something where it's important to learn the lessons. Again, that you can, sticks and stones, yeah, they say that it can break your bones but names won't hurt. Well, that's not true. Names can really hurt you, especially if you've been, you know, as a child, you know, you've got childhood wounding on feeling worthy. When other people are going to make fun of you, this is also things where, you know, what do you need to release? Things like that, right? Things like that. Because I may have had some sort of wounding, obviously I did, if it bothered me, for what he was saying, but what kind of wounding did that kid have where he had to take people down and belittle them and make them feel like shit to feel good about himself? Right? Balance, spirituality, and practicality. And this is the same thing. If someone makes fun of us or they call us names, I'm also thinking, like, you see, like, here and there, I'll see on Facebook, like, somebody, like, shaming someone in the gym. And it's usually this guy going, you know, who will say, hey, this, like, why would you do that? Because everybody has a right to be in that gym. Nobody has a right to shame somebody for trying to get healthy. Right? And I think that this is also like, if this is something that has been an issue for you and the gym is something scary and you don't want to be shamed, I will just plug it because I love it. But Beachbody on Demand is something I do at home. And for those of you, you don't need to hide either. I'm not saying that. It's just that if the gym's not your thing, you can do things at home. However, walk the fuck in that gym like you own the place, my friends. It doesn't matter if there's people around you that are bigger. I remember when I was in university, I used to go to the gym with my friends, and I was absolutely 100% terrified of the weight room. Terrified. Because the basketball team would be up there with the weights, and I hear me, my chubby ass, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't want to go up there and, like, pick up dumbbells and fucking do sit-ups and shit with the basketball team up there. And I mean, it's really embarrassing too. So it's like 18, 19, 20, I don't even know, around there, but like one of those years, right? Where I was like all fully aware of all my insecurities. And I remember her being like, they're not looking at you, right? They're focusing on them. And you know what, now, once I got over the fear of that, it was okay. But, you know, it's still one of those things that they're more than likely not focusing on you. And if they are focusing on you, you know, they need to be focusing more on what the fuck they're doing, not you, okay? So that is also something here, surrender to the divine, and there's a huge importance on releasing the body negativity or the negativity that has, you know, you've been holding on to, because it's still helping us learn those lessons, right? And this is the lesson. Before we move forward here, we have to come into our own King of Pentacles energy and be grounded and stable and feel our worth, know our worth, regardless of our size, I heard, okay? So that's the message I have for you guys. I really hope it resonated. I love you all, and I will talk to you later. Bye, guys.